Hello and welcome to baking a Sho Fly Cake. I will be your host, Brandon Whitmer, and I'll start off with the first step, which is going to be going over to your oven and preheating it to the desired temperature. Okay. Coming back over to our setup over here. We are going to take the water, and since it has to be boiling, I'm going to get that started right away. It's going to be boiling for around 4 minutes, 30 seconds. And you'll hear that going in the background. Okay. Since we need that for the first step in our recipe, we're going to start working on the crumbs. Okay? So I'm going to take pre-measured 4 cups of flour. Okay, I'm going to pour it into this bowl. Give it a good tap to see if everything's out of there. Okay, adding 1 pound of brown sugar, pre-measured, straight in. Okay, and then adding our 3/4 cup of oil. Okay, now here comes the fun part. Okay, always but first, before we do this, wash your hands. Make sure all the dirt and gunk is off of there, so it doesn't taint your recipe. And I'll take a handy dandy towel, dry them off, and now we get to work. And as usual, I'm going to make somewhat of a mess, but that's is pretty much unavoidable. So we mix together the crumbs. And you can kind of feel whenever it starts to get all together and done. And I can actually feel that there's still a lot of brown sugar on the bottom that has not been mixed in, so I'm going to flip this over. Try to get them all mixed in. Okay, that should be all good with the crumbs. Now I'm going to wash my hands again to try to prevent cross-contamination. Okay, and we'll set this aside for later whenever we use it. And I'll grab our other bowl over here and take 1 whole cup of blackstrap baking molasses. Okay, and just as a side note, molasses actually does come from a tree. And I'll use this nice measuring cup thingy. Make sure that I don't have to stick my finger down and clean out all the sticky molasses. Okay. Put this to the side. Okay. Since we're still waiting for that water to boil, I'll do the next important step, which is taking this pan and covering it in this magical shortening. What makes it magical is I get to use my own hands to apply it. You want to make sure you cover this pan real good with shortening or else it's going to stick. And if it sticks, that means less cake for us to eat. Okay. Okay. And next, before the microwave goes off, I will have to add in 1 tablespoon, of our baking soda. So you know. Okay. Okay, now I will retrieve the water, which has been boiling and is now steaming, and pour it straight in. Just in case you can't see what happened in there. Got all foamy and misty and nice. Okay, and now I will mix this quick. Leave that whisk in there, and I'll find my 1 measuring cup. Yep. Okay, and I'll grab 1 cup of the crumbs, as per directions. Trying to break up that 1 piece of brown sugar. And put them right in here. Mix this all together. Okay. Okay, and next we will pour this onto the bottom of our cake pan. Okay. I'll take our spatula here. Try and scoop out the remaining bits. Okay. I'll set this aside. So make sure this is all stirred up. Great. Okay, place that back in here. And now, then I'll take the crumbs and I'll start to sprinkle them over the rest of the cake. And I'll do this with my hands, of course, because it makes it more fun. Okay? And of course, on the side note, I will make a mess of this. Making sure to get those corners, as always. And this is one of the love and care section of the whole, whenever you bake something, it's always prepared with grandma's hands or mother's hands or whatever, and always comes from love, because back then, this is what they did for fun. Alright, I'll just spread that over the top. Okay, and I'll wash my hands again. To avoid getting everything messy. Okay, and I'll bring us back over here to the stove. That's the stove and oven, which has been preheated to 350, and we'll bake this for 50 minutes. While I try to avoid touching the stove oven part. Okay, and we'll grab our timer, set for 50 minutes, and begin it. And since we're sitting here and we have some quality time, I will read to you how molasses is made. Sugar canes are harvested and machines are used to press the juice out of the cane. The sugar cane roots go very deeply into the soil, commonly 15 feet down and ranging from 6.5 to 19 feet deep, enough to bypass nutrient-depleted topsoils that have become the normal and take in more nutrients. That juice is boiled, then put through centrifugal machines to extract the sugar crystals from the liquid. There are 3 grades of molasses: sulfured, unsulfured, and blackstrap, in which we use blackstrap because why not? Sulfur is used to process the unripe green sugar cane. This chemical, sulfur, is not so good for most human consumption, I guess. Sun-ripened sugar is processed without using sulfur, so unsulfured molasses is the better choice. The third boiling necessary to extract the table sugar from the sugar cane or beet sugar produces a thick, dark substance known as blackstrap molasses, which is the most nutrient-dense of all. Why use molasses, some say? It is well established that synthetically derived or composed mineral supplements are not as beneficial as whole food sources naturally nutrient-dense. Basically, man-made stuff is not as good as natural stuff. Iron supplements, for example, tend to create constipation and other digestive problems. Nice. Minerals are not only removed by processing foods, they tend to be lacking in depleted topsoils used for raising crops. Many health sources claim that minerals and enzymes are even more important than vitamins for our health. For example, magnesium is essential to the metabolism and synthesis of almost all other minerals and vitamins, yet several health practitioners, big words, have gone on record saying that most of the population is lacking even sufficient magnesium levels. Might there be some health problems associated with that? Probably. So what's it got? First thing for the sugar wary to consider is blackstrap molasses has a low glycemic index. This means that the glucose in the carbohydrates are metabolized slowly, demanding less insulin production and stabilizing blood sugar. Oh, so this is good for diabetics. The result is less lipids or fat occurring in the blood, and it means that your chances of becoming a diabetic while satisfying your sweet tooth is very nil, or very small. Because of its iron content, many use blackstrap molasses to holistically overcome anemia. Iron is essential to creating red blood cells. In addition to iron, blackstrap molasses contains folate, a natural source for folic acid, along with some other B vitamins, which all combine to form the synergistic mix that promotes red blood cell production. Then there is magnesium in abundance, along with calcium. Both are densely packed within this natural food source. Magnesium is important for balancing with calcium for bone production and energy. It is necessary for the smooth function of our nervous systems. It is also helpful in maintaining heart health. Insignificant magnesium levels can result in muscle spasms, including the heart muscle, which of course relates to arrhythmia or even heart attacks. Well, so you know where I got all this information from. Yep, it was just some background information on molasses. I'll cut back whenever it's time to pull it out of the oven. And now it is time to take the cake out of the oven. Okay, it's been about more like 40 minutes, but I tested the cake with a skewer and it came out clean. So now I'm going to go take it out of the oven. Yep, and set it up on this rack up here so it can cool down. I'll leave it open so the oven can drain enough heat. Make the room hotter too. But I'll bring you guys up so you can see the final product of the Sho Fly Cake.